We have many programs that we offer. We have an early childhood specialization, which would prepare pre-service teachers to teach in pre-kindergarten through 4th grade. You can take that alone, or you can take it as a dual certification program with special education. And when they leave, they will prepare to teach in pre-K through 12th grade in special education. We have certification at the middle level, which would be grades 4 through 8. And that comes in 5 different content specializations. So you actually have to choose 2 content areas. So if you remember back to 4th through 8th grade, you could specialize in either math and science and social studies, English language arts, social studies, any combination of the major subjects. And then we have secondary education certification in 5 different areas. At Misericordia, you're actually a major in your field. So if you would like to be a secondary history teacher teaching social studies at high school, you would actually be a history major here at Misericordia, and you would specialize in secondary education, and when you left, you would be ready to be certified. So in Pennsylvania, if you're going to be a teacher, you're going to get the exact same "what am I going to learn?" wherever you go. The state dictates what the competencies are, and that's what you need to know and be able to do by the time you finish your program. So the difference is really who's teaching you and how they're teaching you. So here we have a fabulous faculty that is devoted and just absolutely supportive of every single learner. We all share the same philosophy of a mastery model of learning, and that's actually one of the central philosophies of our department that we all share. So we believe that every child, every person is capable of learning, and that we as teachers are dedicated to ensuring that that happens. So we model for our students here what we expect them to do in their future classrooms. So we teach in a multi-tiered system of support. It's okay if you don't get it the first time, but we feel like if it's tied to those objectives, it's important enough for us to take the time to reteach it, to let you have an opportunity to master it, so that you'll be an effective teacher in the future. All of our programs include service learning. So as a student, you'll have an opportunity to dedicate yourself to providing community service. You get to choose that experience, but also we have some built into our program. So for example, you'll have an opportunity to serve as an after-school tutor for some students in an elementary school in Wilkes-Barre, where the majority of students speak English as a second language. You may also have an opportunity to serve as a mentor for an at-risk youth at one of our urban high schools in the area. And then we have multiple other opportunities that are optional. We have a lot of opportunity to work with our autism center here on campus. We actually have a course which is devoted to teaching methods of how to teach children and individuals with ASD. So it's a wonderful partnership there. We get to send our students down, they support the programming, they really get to make a difference in the community and take away just super valuable skills to use in the classroom. We also have experiential learning embedded into every single one of our semesters here. So as a teacher education major, you're going to be spending time in area classrooms every single semester. We really believe that what you learn here in our classroom is super important, but it is really enhanced by you taking it out into a classroom and applying it. So we work in collaboration with local area teachers. They serve as mentors for our pre-service teachers, and we're really reliant on them to let our students apply what they learn in our classroom and really get that authentic learning experience. We are one of the few teacher preparation programs in Pennsylvania that has been approved to offer alternative assessments. So another commonality in Pennsylvania is that all teacher prep students have to take and pass basic skills testing somewhere between sophomore and junior year if they want to continue on to their upper level courses and become formal teacher candidates. So those tests can sometimes be a stumbling block, and they're rather expensive. So our department applied for program approval to offer alternative assessments, meaning that we have identified specific courses that are aligned to those assessments, and if you have successful completion of that course, you're exempt from meeting that testing requirement. So that's something I think only a handful of states in Pennsylvania have been approved for. We also have some other opportunities that are really unique to the Misericordia Teacher Education Department. We participate in a virtual reality performance-based software program called Immersion, and that allows our students to demonstrate effective teaching in all aspects of teaching. So we typically think of teaching as standing up in front of the room or interacting in small groups, but really focused on the delivery of effective instruction, creating it, implementing it, assessing it. But there's a lot more to teaching. So we have to be able to collaborate If you're a member of an IEP team, you need to be able to sit down with a regular ed teacher, parents, the student, speech-language pathologist, physical therapist, occupational therapist, nursing, the principal, and you need to be able to advocate for your student. So immersion allows you to be immersed in a virtual reality IEP meeting where you're running the meeting and you're collaborating with your peers to create behavioral goals. We can also assess other aspects of effective teaching. Classroom management is a big one. So typically when we go in the field, the last thing the real classroom teacher does before she turns over power is says, everybody better behave in here. So you really don't get the opportunity to face student pushback in an authentic way until you're student teaching. And then you're at the end of your program and you're kind of out there by yourself. So here we can ensure that every student has to face the pushback of, every one of our students having a student that pulls out a cell phone and refuses to put it away, right? Or is completely disengaged in a lesson. And they have to attempt to get the student back and engaged in learning. So all of these little aspects of teaching that we don't necessarily get to do performance-based assessments on in our field placements, we're able to capture in immersion small group instruction scenario. Here at Misericordia, we are part of the College of Health Science and Education. So that's kind of not unique, but it's a special place for us to be. As members of the College of Health Science and Education, that gives us a wonderful opportunity to engage with other students in other majors in our college and really have these wonderful interprofessional learning experiences. So if you think about a teacher and all of the collaboration that they do, the people that they come into contact with, or a student, say, with a disability, and everybody who's part of that care team, we get to recreate that in an interprofessional education experience. So we call it IPE here at Misericordia. And we'll assemble students from all different majors. So you'll have education majors, nursing, PT, OT, SLP, psych, social work, all coming together, and we form collaborative learning groups. And typically we'll center it around a case study. So we'll give the students a case study revolving around a child with spina bifida. And everybody will kind of track that student throughout their development from birth through high school graduation. And at each step along the way, each major developmental milestone, each member of the team is going to get to say what their role is at that point in the child's life, what services they can provide, who they need to be working with, how those people would work together in an authentic setting like a classroom. So it's a really wonderful way to prepare our students to be effective teachers and great collaborators, which is a wonderful sign of professionalism. We also have recently infused international collaboration into our program. So we started piloting a program called My Schools Network, and it's a free web-based program. We launched it last spring, and it brings together our students with other teacher preparation students from around the world. So they entered a classroom learning space online with teacher preparation students from Finland, from Turkey, from the Netherlands, and from an Erasmus program, which is actually a study abroad program that's run in Europe. And they participated in a course called Classroom Dilemmas. A lot of change. I will start with K-12. First of all, teachers are no longer just supposed to be academic content experts. They are supposed to take care of the socio-economic and emotional needs of their students as well. They take on the role of nurse, social worker, psychologist, parent, mentor. So it's a lot more demanding than it used to be, and the expectations both in the classroom and in teacher preparation are much larger than they used to be. In the higher ed realm, there's a lot of change related to teacher preparation itself. So the Pennsylvania Department of Education specifies what it is teachers need to know and be able to do by the time they finish a program. And those competencies, just like the profession itself, are changing, growing, evolving, and really involve a lot more than just teaching and learning. COVID has certainly impacted K-12 learning. Many of our schools in the area have switched to fully online programming. A couple schools are offering hybrid programming. So perhaps kids will be in person 2 days a week, the rest of the time they're at home learning remotely. This really impacts our ability to get into the field. So with our students needing a field placement every semester, right now our program size is about 110. So we have to find 110 field placements in schools who want to lock their doors and keep everyone out. So we've had to get very creative, and we have students who have entered virtual classrooms for field placements for the first time ever. So we've reached out last spring to our cyber schools, and our students went into cyber classrooms and took over the role of teaching, and that was a whole new aspect for them. So it's an awareness now when we approach teaching and learning in those methods classes that have field placements. We let them know what challenges they might face, what they may do, and some of the challenges aren't even related to teaching and learning. So simply getting access to that virtual classroom has been a huge challenge because K-12 schools never had to let anybody in before. So there have been a lot of obstacles, but our students are super flexible, super persistent, and they've had some really valuable learning experiences. And actually quite a few of them went kicking and screaming into cyber classrooms. And I got a lot of really wonderful emails after the fact. And they said they never could have imagined how to co-teach in a special ed classroom online with another teacher who wasn't even in the same room. So they've really learned a whole new aspect of teaching and learning. And just like their peers in the field, they're learning it for the first time. But they're well prepared to go out and job hunt in this error that is the COVID era in teaching and learning. So all of those skills will keep them current and make them very marketable because they have been learning just like all of the other teachers have been teaching. If you're interested in becoming a teacher education student at Misericordia, please reach out. We welcome you into our classroom. If we have space, you can come attend physically. If we don't, you're welcome to jump in on Zoom. Many of our students are high flexing and you're more than welcome into our classrooms. We would love for you to come, see what it's like to be a learner in a very hands-on, active learning environment where there's a lot of collaborative social learning, and see what it feels like to be a teacher education major here at Misericordia.